In the hushed corridors of family life, where shadows sometimes mask the truth, the story of sons raised by narcissistic mothers unfolds. These sons, often overlooked in the narrative of narcissistic parenting, bear the weight of a unique burden. In this video, we will unmask the subtle complexities that shape the lives of these boys, revealing the profound impact of narcissistic mothers on their journey to manhood. The distorted reflection. From a tender age, sons of narcissistic mothers see themselves through distorted mirrors. The reflection they perceive is not their true selves, but a fragmented image shaped by their mother's constant need for admiration. Growing up, they grapple with a distorted self-identity, torn between the person they truly are and the person their mother wants them to be. Imagine a scenario where the narcissistic mother's child brings home a test with a few mistakes. Instead of offering support and encouragement, she reacts with disappointment and criticism. She might say, "I can't believe you made these errors. I expected better from you. What will people think of me if you keep performing like this?" In this way, she places the burden of maintaining her image of perfection on her child. Emotional alienation. Narcissistic mothers, consumed by their own desires, often alienate their sons emotionally. These boys crave genuine affection and support, but their emotional needs are overshadowed by their mother's insatiable hunger for attention. As a result, they learn to mask their feelings, leading to a deep sense of isolation even during loved ones. At a family gathering, a narcissistic mum might subtly manipulate conversations and situations to ensure that the spotlight remains on her. She interrupts others, changes the topic to herself, and exaggerates her achievements. Through her manipulative behaviours, she ensures that the focus is always on her, leaving her family members feeling unheard and unimportant. These young boys yearn for genuine maternal warmth and support, but they are forced into the role of emotional caregivers for their mother, perpetuating a cycle of emotional neglect that may affect their relationships and emotional well-being well into adulthood. The weight of unrealistic expectations. Sons of narcissistic mothers bear the weight of staggering, unattainable expectations from childhood into adulthood. They're groomed to chase an elusive standard of perfection, constantly striving to meet impossibly high benchmarks across academics, athletics, and social interactions, yet never feeling adequate. The ceaseless pursuit of perfection fosters profound self-doubt, leading them to question their own capabilities. Furthermore, they're burdened with the mandate to project unwavering strength, concealing any vulnerabilities, which hampers their ability to express authentic emotions or seek emotional support. Self-blame becomes a perpetual companion as they internalize the idea that they are the problem, not their narcissistic mother's behavior. This internalized guilt and self-doubt are enduring, and the constant pressure gives rise to anxiety in various forms, affecting their mental and emotional well-being. In adulthood, these sons grapple with a legacy of self-doubt, anxiety, and perfectionism. They may find themselves trapped in a cycle of seeking external validation to compensate for the dearth of affirmation at home, often leading to overachievement, burnout, and disappointment. Breaking free from this burden necessitates recognizing the unrealistic expectations imposed upon them, acknowledging the toxic nature of their upbringing, and seeking support to redefine self-worth and establish healthy boundaries. The path to healing entails a journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance, ultimately liberating them from the heavy load they've carried for far too long. Empathy drought. Growing up without the nurturing empathy that every child deserves, these sons often find it challenging to empathize with others. The empathy they should have received in abundance was withheld, leaving them with a deficit that affects their ability to form deep, meaningful connections in their adult lives. As a result, they may struggle to recognize and respond to the emotional needs of their partners, friends, or colleagues. This lack of empathy can manifest as an emotional disconnect, making it difficult for them to truly understand and support the people around them. In friendships, their difficulty in empathizing can lead to miscommunication and misunderstandings. They may not readily comprehend the feelings and perspectives of their friends, making it harder to provide the support and comfort that close friendships often rely on. In professional settings, the deficit in empathy can hinder their ability to work effectively in teams and collaborate with colleagues. Empathy is a crucial component of effective communication and cooperation, and its absence can impede their career growth and success. Boundary confusion. Narcissistic mothers rarely recognize boundaries, blurring the lines between their needs and their son's autonomy. The blurring of boundaries between a narcissistic mother's needs and their son's autonomy can result in a sense of enmeshment, where the son's individuality is overshadowed by the mother's demands. As a result, these sons may grow up with a diminished sense of self and difficulty in establishing healthy boundaries in their relationships. One of the most significant consequences of this upbringing is the struggle to assert themselves and say no. Sons who have been conditioned to prioritize their mother's needs over their own often find it challenging to assert their own desires or needs in relationships, be it in personal or professional contexts. This tendency to put others' needs first can lead to a pattern of self-neglect and emotional exhaustion, as they continuously sacrifice their well-being for the sake of avoiding conflict or seeking approval. The search for approval. In their pursuit of approval, these sons often become people pleasers. Desperate to gain the elusive affection denied to them in childhood, they seek validation in the eyes of others, perpetuating a cycle of seeking external approval that can be hard to break. This relentless need to please others often leads to a pattern of self-neglect, as they prioritize the wishes and expectations of others over their own desires and well-being. A concrete example of this can be seen in a son who grew up with a distant or emotionally unavailable parent. Throughout his childhood, the parent rarely offered praise or affection, leaving the son with a profound sense of inadequacy. As the son enters adulthood, he yearns to fill the emotional void left by his parents' indifference. In his quest for validation, he becomes a dedicated people pleaser. He readily agrees to help friends and colleagues, often at the expense of his own needs and personal boundaries. He continuously seeks affirmation from others, hoping that their approval will fill the void created by his parents' emotional absence. This behavior can manifest in various ways, such as overcommitting to projects, compromising personal values to fit in, or suppressing one's own feelings and opinions to avoid conflict. Over time, the son may find himself entangled in a web of external expectations, feeling trapped and unfulfilled. Romantic relationships and intimacy struggles. Indeed, the influence of a narcissistic mother can cast a long shadow over a son's romantic life, shaping his emotional landscape in profound ways. One concrete example of this can be seen in the struggle for intimacy and trust. Sons raised by narcissistic mothers often find it challenging to let their guard down in romantic relationships. For instance, imagine a man named Alex, who grew up with a mother who constantly demanded his attention and admiration, while providing little in return. In this environment, Alex learned that love and validation came at a steep price, the sacrifice of his own needs and desires. As he enters romantic relationships in adulthood, he may carry the belief that he must constantly please his partner at his own expense. This can lead to a pattern of seeking partners who, like his mother, demand unwavering attention and admiration. The fear of vulnerability, a common consequence of growing up with a narcissistic mother, can further complicate Alex's romantic life. He may struggle to express his own needs and emotions, fearing that doing so will result in rejection or abandonment, as he experienced in childhood. This reluctance to open emotionally can create distance in his relationships and hinder the development of true intimacy. Replication. Sons who unknowingly replicate their narcissistic mothers later in life often find themselves caught in a challenging cycle. While they may not consciously intend to mimic these behaviors, they have internalized them from their upbringing. They tend to exhibit similar behavioral patterns without realizing it. Although it can be challenging to recognize and address these unconscious patterns, many sons can free themselves from replicating their narcissistic mother's behaviors. Through self-awareness, therapy, and a commitment to personal growth, they can heal, build healthier relationships, and create a more positive and nurturing family environment for themselves and their loved ones. Sons of narcissistic mothers bear scars unseen yet deeply felt. Their self-identity is distorted, their emotional needs shrouded in silence, overshadowed by unrelenting expectations. Yet, within this challenging narrative, there is resilience. With self-awareness and courage to break free from the chains of the past, these sons can emerge from the shadows. Using therapy as their compass and personal growth as their guide, they can transform their lives. Through these efforts, they can rewrite their stories, forging healthier relationships and creating a new, compassionate legacy for themselves and the generations that follow, unshackled from the burdens of the past. Your stories and experiences with narcissistic manipulation are powerful. Share in the comments and let others know they're not alone. By understanding the tactics of a narcissist, we can safeguard against their snares. If this resonates, give a thumbs up, share and subscribe for more insights. Remember, you deserve love and respect. Stand strong, and until our next deep dive, take care.